What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the North Shore 9 postgame show powered by Primanti Brothers. I'm Jim. With me today is Neil. Neil, not a great one. Not a great game at all.
I hate this team, man. The lengths we go to lose games, it's astounding.
Yeah, we'll get into all of the stuff that happened today. I do want to share this note though. So it was the bottom of the fifth inning when Cleveland was kind of scoring all those runs and taking the lead back. I think at this point it was 8-6, and my wife she wakes up super early. She goes to bed pretty early, so she comes over, kisses me goodnight, and she notices I'm just not in a good mood. She just goes, "Don't be too sad. It's only been like this for the last 30 years." And I was just like, "You got to be kidding me!" But it was rough game. And on top of that, I've got the hiccups right now. So if you hear me just kind of blurting out random noises during this post game show, that's what it is. So not a great night, Neil.
No. And at least these games have been somewhat entertaining, because we're scoring runs, and you felt pretty good when they had that 6-run inning. Cruz knocking in runs, Rowdy Tellez hits home runs, but I'm just so tired of us handing leads right back to the other team. It happens so often, and the starting pitching and the bullpen just kind of switch off. It's not one or the other. Both of them are just not doing their jobs right now.
It's frustrating because you've seen the offense actually perform lately. Like the offense has not been a problem for a while now, for like a month. But now you see the pitching take a turn for the worse. So yeah, we'll get into it. Lots to discuss tonight. A lot of bad stuff. There was some good, I guess. The offense was good. We'll talk about some good stuff offensively, but the pitching wise, just terrible. But before we get to that, Bet Online, it is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get on the action. Bet Online, the game starts here. All right. So Pirates lose 10-8 to Cleveland. I mean, let's just kind of start off from the beginning here. Bailey Falter gets the start for the Pirates. He gives up 2 runs in the first inning. Josh Naylor, 2-run double. Gives up 2 more runs in the fourth. One of those on a Austin Hedges perfectly executed squeeze bunt, which just, man, it's that was a killer one. Austin Hedges, not only was he stealing strikes early on in this game in a big moment, O'Neal Cruz gets caught looking, and I think he saw maybe 1 strike in the entire at bat, but he gets caught looking in a big spot early on in the game with runners in scoring position, which ultimately led to your boy Derek Shelton getting tossed. But yeah, 4-0 deficit kind of right off the bat. Not the best start for Bailey Falter. I mean, he only goes those 4 innings and gives up 4 runs.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, just because Bailey Falter is like the perfect pitcher for Guardians hitting. The Guardians love making lots of contact. it's not hitting the ball as hard, so like they can squeak out hits. Like, and so Bailey Falter, who's a pitch to contact guy, I was a little worried going into tonight anyway. So I mean, I haven't been impressed with him in a while, but I'm also not surprised by how he did tonight. I don't think he looked very good at all.
No, he wasn't good. Anytime you give up 4 runs in 4 innings, I mean, he gave up 7 hits, 1 walk, only struck out 2.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have it today. But before they pulled him, the Pirates, like, again, this offense hasn't been the problem. So I want to talk about this 5th inning that the Pirates had.
Mhm.
Yasmani Grandal leads off with a single. Jared Triolo flies out IKF with a fielder's choice. So, I mean, they did all this with 2 outs. Brian Reynolds with a single. O'Neal Cruz with a big 2-run single to get the Pirates on the board. Andrew McCutchen crushes one to deep center off the top of the wall. 2-run double. And then Rowdy Tellez kind of kicks it all, with puts the bow on it with a 2-run homer. They score 6 runs in the 5th inning on 6 hits off of Lively, who was dominating them kind of the first 4 innings. He was looking pretty good, and the Pirates just got to him in the 5th, and you start feeling pretty good. All right, this offense is clicking.
I guess I started feeling good.
Yeah.
we're off the backs of us blowing a 7-run lead. So I guess giving the Cleveland 4 more runs and then immediately after that shouldn't be too surprising. But no, that was a really good inning, and I completely forgot that it was all of 2 outs. Like that was good stuff. Like, and the middle of the lineup had a really good day today. 2
They
through
did.
5,
Yeah.
each had 2 hits, combined 8 RBI. Like 8 RBI. Am I going crazy? They drove in all our runs today. Like they were all really, really good. And honestly, McCutchen was a beast today.
Andrew, yeah, let's talk about Andrew McCutchen. So he was activated off of the IL today. Short stint. I think this was his first day that he was eligible. So he, 10 days off basically, comes back today. And he just starts hitting bullets. I mean, from an exit velo standpoint, he had 5 at bats today. 96.5 miles per hour, 99.2, 102.5, 103.1, 106. He had 3 barrels. His double that he hit off the top of the wall would have been a homer in 25 different ballparks. And then he had a line out too early on in the game in the first inning where he hit the ball. Like I said, 106 was one of the hardest hit balls of the game. O'Neal Cruz hit 120.3 today. Just ridiculous how hard he hits the ball. But I thought just an outstanding first game off the IL for Kutch.
Yeah. And Clace has given up. That's only the 2nd home run all year Emmanuel Clace has given up, and McCutchen hit the 2nd one. Like it is. He just looked really comfortable at the plate. And yeah, and I couldn't believe when I saw the 5 hard hits, but yeah, he should have had 2 home runs. His OPS is now up to 752. Like he's defying age. And I don't think any of us really expected him to be hitting this well when he came back at what age? He's 37, right? I'm not making that up.
37. Yep.
37. Yeah, like he looks good. And a lot of people were trying to say like it's time for him to retire, but I don't know. I think McCutchen is one of our better hitters on this team, and he as weird as it sounds.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the very few hitters on this team that is actually above average. And like you said, the home run off of Emmanuel Clase, that's hard. That's hard to do. Like he's only given up 1 all season long. He went into today with an ERA of 0.58. So yeah, hitting that homer off of Clase was big. And we'll get to that because that could have been a meaningful homer and it wasn't. So we will touch on that. But no, I thought just a really, really good game from Kutch. Yeah, I mean, just to kind of put the season stats together here, 2 for 5 today. But a 110 weighted runs created plus on the year. Yeah, like the 10% above league average at age 37. And there's really only 2 other people on this team that are hitting the ball above average. So yeah, that's ridiculous. It is going to be an interesting topic this offseason because you look at this team and you're like, why? Like, where does Kutch fit? But then you look at it and you're like, he fits because he can hit. Like, he's still hitting. There's still a spot for him because he's a better hitter than most everyone on this team.
Yeah, and he's taking team-friendly deals to come play with us. Like, based off his stats last year, he probably could have gotten at least double what the Pirates gave him in free agency. And there is something to be said about like a DH who can't play every day. That's a little rough, where like he has to have his days off. But yeah, he's going to come back cheap, and the Pirates need bats wherever they can find them. And so if you're not trading for Brent Rooker, which they're not going to, you should bring Kutch back if he wants to, because it wouldn't surprise me if he wants to start thinking about going into the sunset with the injuries catching up to him, with him missing time even as a DH. But yeah, I mean, bring him back for one more year and hope that you can build more hitters around him.
Yeah, 100%. So the Pirates storm out in front there in the 5th. You're feeling pretty good. You're like, okay, we got to Lively. Let's get to this bullpen. Cleveland comes up in the bottom of the 5th. They pull Falter. So 59 pitches. They take Falter out after the 4 innings and 4 runs. Carmen Mlodzinski comes in, who back off the IL. He's been he's been one of your more reliable bullpen arms lately. Again, it's been he's only thrown 1 game since coming off the IL. But prior to that, he was one of your more reliable arms.
Yeah.
So you put him in the 5th, and Neil, he just gets shelled. Shelled. It was one of the worst outings I've seen from him. Yeah, like single to Jose Ramirez to lead off the inning, which, okay, it's Jose Ramirez, right? But then Josh Naylor with a single, John Kenzie Noel with a home run, and just a monster home run. He hits it 450 feet to left. He just crushes it. And then Andres Jimenez with a home run. So just a dreadful outing from Mlodzinski. And then you just stormed back from down 4-0. You go up 6-4, and then you look up 5 minutes later, and you're down 8-6. And it's soul crushing.
Yeah. And they did a good job getting a run back pretty quickly, like in the top of the 6th, which I'm sure we'll get to. But I mean, everyone in the bullpen is, even Chapman, who's been our best guy, and even Nicholas. Like we're talking about Mlodzinski, Nicholas, Chapman, who have been like our more reliable guys this year, who haven't really had many blowups. Like they're now blowing up. It's a perfect concoction of like every person being bad at the exact wrong time. I mean, and I don't want to get on too much because this is his first start back from the IL. Like this is his first time back, and so I still think he has a play. I still think he's good. It's really unfortunate how how our relievers just keep blowing up since the trade deadline.
And it's everybody. It's everyone. Dennis Santana, I guess you could say, is like the one guy who's been pretty good.
No, Chapman has been really good, except except a couple days ago. And and you even look at the stats, like, and it drives me mad, like just the stats that like posts like team stats. It's like the Pirates have been top 10, top 12 in pitcher ERA or bullpen ERA since the All-Star break, and it certainly doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't feel like it because we just have a new guy blowing up every single night.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because, like you said, it's every night. Every night it's somebody. Someone doesn't do their job. Today it was Majinski,
Two
and
people.
then later on it was Herman. So
Yeah.
yeah, and, and we'll get to Herman too. But like I said, so 8-6. You bring in Domingo Herman, and it's like, whatever. I don't know why this guy's still on the team, but he does give you 2 clean innings, right? You get to the 9th. You get to the 8th, bottom of the 8th, and then you've scratched and clawed your way back to 1 run. The Pirates scored on an O'Neill Cruz single in the 6th. Cruz had an awesome game today at the plate, by the way. 2 for 5, 3 RBIs. He just continues to play really well. But you put Herman back out there with a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're kind of already playing with fire here. He just gave you 2 good innings when, he probably shouldn't have, because he stinks. But you get to the bottom of the 8th, you put him back in, he gives up 2 hits, and then they leave him in. Like, runners on the corners, 1 out, 1-run game. He's already thrown 2 1/3 innings. You had an off day yesterday. Everybody's available in your bullpen. Mm-hmm. This is a winnable game. Maybe you didn't think it was because you've got Class A coming in the 9th, but go out there and try to put up another 0 here, so you've got a chance in the 9th inning. Yeah. And they stuck with Herman. Jose Ramirez steals 2nd, so next thing you know, it's 2nd and 3rd. David Fry singles in a run. Josh Naylor singles in a run. Now it's a 3-run lead, and you're not scoring 3 runs.
It might make a little bit of sense if this was a guy who wasn't on a 1-year minor league deal, that you're leaving him in there just to see what you have in a lost season. But sticking with Domingo Herman, who sucks, who shouldn't be anywhere near this team, and frankly, shouldn't be in baseball right now, he should be in rehab, is being let to go in the 9th inning in a 1-run game. I can't wrap my head around that. It's super stupid. And you're right, everyone was available. Everyone. I understand that Holderman and Bednar and all these other guys haven't been good, but go to Denise Santana or something.
Yep.
It's so stupid that we are giving innings to this guy in winnable games.
Yeah. It was frustrating because, again, Andrew McCutchen solo homer to lead off the 9th, and if you don't give up those 2 runs in the 8th, then that run means something, right? That's tying up the game at that point.
How many games have we had this year where we put up the 1 run in the 9th or something like that, and if the bullpen just doesn't give up that extra run, it means something? I feel like it's happened more times than I ever can remember in a Pirates season.
It does seem like it happens all the time.
Mm-hmm. That might be completely anecdotal. It might be recency bias. But man, I feel like it's happened so many times this year.
Yeah. And I mean, this kind of begs, and I mean, this is maybe more of a topic for an NS9 Live or something like that. But man, this last month, we talk about how 2 weeks ago on NS9 Live, I said, basically everybody needs to go. Andy Haynes needs to go. Derek Shelton needs to go. Ben Sherry needs to go. But I said on there, I was like, you know what? I'm fine with Marine staying around. But this last month has been such a catastrophic failure just across the board. Mm-hmm. I don't think Oscar Marine's job should be safe by any means, because you finally got the production that you needed out of your offense at a critical time of the season, and your pitching just crapped the bed. And so when you look at, all right, who's in charge of the pitching, it's him. And again, it's a new guy. It's a new guy every day. It's not just 1 or 2 guys that are doing this. It's a different person down the line every single day. It's the whole team. Pitching has been terrible.
It's hard there because I think I even sent the Discord that my opinion on Marine is shifting a little bit. I used to think he was pretty darn good, and I still think he's a talented pitching coach. I do. I think the work he's gotten out of our starting rotation this year is genuinely amazing work. And I don't want to diminish that, but he really struggles to get the best out of his bullpens, doesn't he? I think it was kind of like this last year too, where he seems to be able to like work with the Johan Oviedos of the world, get good stuff out of Luis Ortiz, even get like good stuff out of Bailey Falter. But the bullpen, yeah, we don't have a consistent guy in the bullpen. And we saw this last year with Bednar a little bit. We saw this last year with Holderman as well. Yeah, I mean, I would be okay if he stays. I think he's a good pitching coach, but I also, if he goes because they need to get a better guy to help with the bullpen, I wouldn't be upset. But I don't want to be too hard on him because I do think he's a good coach.
I think just my thing is like you look at that pivotal stretch of games that they were in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Starting with like the Arizona series and kind of going from there. You know, you give up 9. It's just consistently giving up way too many runs. 9 runs, 9 runs, 6 runs, 6 runs, 9 runs, 7, 9, 6, 8, 10, 10, 18, 9, 14, 10. The last 6 games that we've played, Neil, we've given up 10 or more runs in 4 of them.
Yeah. No, it's been a complete collapse. And Marine, I don't know how you get this type of performance from the talented bullpen arms we have there. Because like I think a lot of our top end guys are talented bullpen guys. But I think you might be onto something in terms of like mentally prepared for important situations. It seems like we kind of folded when we needed to like get clutch performances from our best guys.
Yeah, that plain and simple. That's exactly what it was. Like you went out there, you played well enough immediately after the All-Star break to put your team in a position that you were in playoff contention. You went out there, and we can argue for days if they did enough at the trade deadline, right? We can argue that.
Yeah.
But fact of the matter is they upgraded their team at the trade deadline. Like they brought in upgrades. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is an upgrade over Alika Williams, right? Brian De La Cruz is an upgrade over Ji-Wan Bae, right? Jalen Beeks is an upgrade over whatever other random lefty they had pitching at the time. Like these are all upgrades that they got at the deadline, and they just completely, utterly failed. Like just unilaterally, the entire team, starting directly like the trade deadline was July 30th. And then as soon as July 31st happened, the entire team started to just fail miserably. And you've got to then look at, okay, like this is the first time that we've seen these coaches on this team play like a pivotal stretch of meaningful baseball games late in a season. It hasn't happened. This is the 5th year that they've been around. We've never seen them coach meaningful games before. And the first opportunity they had to do that, they just failed miserably. And I think that's just kind of where I'm at. And I know you're one of those folks where it's like, you know, the coaches don't matter. And I think that's,
I think that the hitting and pitching coaches matter much more than the manager. That's I think they are much more responsible for like getting the best out of players, while the manager is like managing like the games themselves. Like, and you can disagree with me. That's fine.
I'm going to disagree.
That's perfectly fine. Like, I think Haynes and Marine are much more responsible for the performance of the players than Sheldon is. But like I said, if the changes you need to do, like, and I've said this multiple times, like if you need to get change in and Derek Shelton says he wants to stick with these guys and you don't think that either Marine or Haynes are the guys to get you to the playoffs, then yeah, clear the entire coaching staff out, get new guys in, get some new blood in, and see what they can do with these guys. Because, I mean, David Bednar, as soon as I don't want to say he like isn't able to step it up when like the games matter, but like he was a 2-time All-Star closer when we were a terrible team. And now when we need him to close games and get us to a winning season, he collapsed. But it's not just Bednar. It was Holderman. It's Majinski. It's everyone. And so, yeah, I think there is something to be said that we don't have the right mentality in the bullpen right now, which sucks.
Yeah. And again, the offense scored 8 runs again today. And kind of going back, like they scored 10 runs yesterday and lost. They scored 5 runs the day before and lost. They scored 8 runs the day before that and lost. So it's like the offense they're finally giving you what you need, and it's just the pitching isn't there to back them up. It sucks. But yeah, I mean, they lose today. They dropped to 62 and 72. They're now 10 games under 500. They are. I mean, the Reds at least got crushed today too, so they didn't really lose any games on them. But the Pirates are a game behind the Reds. They're in last place, squarely in last place. They're they're the 4th worst team in the National League at this point. It's extremely frustrating.
Well, I mean, I know Alex was on NS9 Live last night, and he said it would take something biblical to get, front office change in.
Yep.
And well, and I feel like a collapse of this nature, if it keeps going the way it's going, I don't know how you don't call that a biblical type of event, because I mean, just the amount of games that we have lost because the bullpen can't do their job. Like if we get like 5 or 6 less blown saves over this stretch, we're still talking about playoffs. We're not talking about clearing house and being 10 games under 500. Like it's I hate to say it's the bullpen. It's not the offense, and I can't believe I'm saying it. The bullpen has cost the team the season.
Going into today, the bullpen had the 27th best ERA. The starting pitchers had the 6th best ERA in baseball. So you're looking at a team as the 6th best performing starting pitching staff in the major leagues, the 6th best. And they're 10 games under 500 because at different points in the season, either the offense was failing them or the bullpen was failing them. And it's just, it's like they just can't put, they really only need 2 of those things to come together at one time. Like as long as 2 of those things are working simultaneously, like you think this team can do it. But they just haven't been able to. And it's just, the players just aren't good enough. And it's frustrating because you're in year 5 of this. The players aren't good enough. The coaches aren't good enough, in my opinion. Like that, just top to bottom, this organization isn't good enough. They're not getting the job done. And I think Pirates fans and us are included. Like we are getting very, very frustrated. We're getting sick of this. Like how many years do we have to sit through games and seasons like this before we can have a good year? Because like I said, that's really all I need. Give me competitive baseball for the entire season. Get us into the playoffs every now and then. 6 teams make the playoffs now. It shouldn't be that difficult. Like if you're trying, you should have a pretty good, because at any point in time, there's 15 teams in your league. 5 of them are not trying. like there's take a handful of them and it's like, all right, these teams aren't even really trying to win right now. And so all you got to do is beat out 4 other teams that are trying, and you're in the playoffs, and they haven't been able to do it. So
yeah. It's a waste of a year, and it's really disappointing because there's no guarantee that your starters are 6th in the ERA next year. There is no guarantee. I always say it's most likely that they are, and they probably regress a little bit. And so it really comes down to the offseason, like how this team handles the offseason, where you're going to have, let's say, can we say $40 million? Is that a little too much to spend? Is $40 million about right?
At least. I mean, they have future commitments of like $41 million going the next year.
Yeah,
Ethan put out, if you're not following Ethan Houlihan, make sure you're following him. But he put out his like projected payroll for next year, like including the entire 40-man roster, and I think it was sitting at like $71 million right now, just with people who are on the team. So I
with
mean,
with
attendance. That's with arbitration and everything. Yeah. So let me
it's
get
like
the exact
you're
number
probably
for you. So 75 and a half million dollars
yeah.
projected payroll for next year, just based off of what they have right now.
Mm-hmm. No, I was like, if you have the 30 to 40 million, like, and you don't have to spend any of it on pitching, because I don't believe in paying money for relievers. I think Bednar is a good example of that. And you have like 9 starting pitching options in house that are pretty solid. You have to nail the bats, and you have to hope that Moretta and Baraki are back to form, and you find some more Moretta and Barakis in the offseason. Those neat little trades that you make, because those are what going to build the rest of this team. I think Tyler said it once, you've done the hard part. You have done the hard part. Now it's about filling in the rest of the pieces, because I still think like Holderman is talented. I still think Bednar is talented. I still like Moretta. I still like Majinski. I still like
Nicholas. Like you've seen Nicholas take a huge step forward. Yeah.
Nicholas is part of like there are talented guys. Like it's not hopeless, but it has to be a different offseason than what we saw last year. And I know this is more of like an NS9 live type of deal, but I'm tired of seeing the bullpen do the same thing over and over again.
Yep. So bullpen gives up 6 runs today in 4 innings. You're just not. You can't win games when your bullpen gives up 6 runs. I mean, that's just plain and simple. So
that's 2 straight games where the bullpen has given up at least 6 runs. I mean, last time it was 11. It's really bad.
Yeah, I said they're giving up 4 out of the last 6 games, double digits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's hard to win when you're giving up 10 or more runs in a game. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I have like one more thing. I don't know if you even want to touch on it. Like,
let's do it. Yeah.
So like, clearly they see like they want to try different things. Like that's why they moved O'Neal Cruz to center field. I think he's all right out there, all things considered. But since they're trying things, and why aren't they playing their young guys? Like why is Henry Davis riding the bench all the time? I understand he hasn't been very good, but if we're like acknowledging the season's over and we're trying O'Neal Cruz out in the center field, we're trying to see if IKF can be our everyday shortstop next year, why isn't like Henry Davis playing baseball games? Why is Yasmani Grandal getting all the starts? Like, I know he's been better, and I will fully admit, as someone who did not like Grandal, that he has been a whole lot better this year. But why is Henry Davis not getting reps in a lost season? I don't get it.
I think you can say that for a lot of people. Like, why is Yasmani Grandal starting so many games? Why is Billy McKinney starting so many games? Like, you just went out there and acquired Billy Cook and Nick York. You've got to add both of them to the 40-man roster this offseason. So like, just do it now and see if one of them can be something for you going into next year. Because if they don't get any playing time this season, like substantial playing time down the stretch here, you have no idea. Like, you're going into next year with no clue if either of those guys can help you out. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you know Billy McKinney's not going to be on this team next year.
Nope.
So like, why is Billy McKinney? Billy McKinney has started too many games. Like, Billy McKinney has started too many games for this team. I was fine with him getting a shot and like getting him some just like service time or whatever, but he deserved it. He had a good season in AAA, but it's now to the point, we're like, you need to find out things for next year. And what you need to find out next year is, can you rely on Henry Davis for literally anything? Because right now, the answer, like the answer to that question is no. Like, you can't go into next year relying on Henry Davis to provide anything of value for you. So go ahead and get him playing time now to see if the answer to that question can change. And if it doesn't change, then going into next year, we can't count on Henry Davis. But if he has a strong last month of this year, then you can go and say, okay, you know what? We may have something here.
Yeah.
You need to find out if you have something with Billy Cook. Because again, he's not young. He's had plenty of minor league experience. It's not like he doesn't know what he's doing down there. Call him up play him so that next year, when you're trying to figure out how you're going to fill this roster in, you can say, all right, you know what, Billy Cook, we can probably get 300 at bats out of him, and we feel good about it. Yeah. But if not, then you're adding him to the 40 man. He's just taking up a spot, and you have no idea what you're going to get out of him.
And I would even rather see Palacios up here over Billy McKinney, because at least Palacios has options. It's like I think like he's going to be on the team next year. It's like, even though Palacios like isn't like some world beater, like it almost feels like they want to win games, which is why they're not calling up the young guys. But then they also leave Domingo Germán in in a 1-run game after getting 2 clean. The decisions don't make sense to me. And maybe I don't want to. Like I said before, I don't want to get too critical, because we don't have the inside information. We don't have the data that they have, and maybe there's a very good reason that Nick York is still in AAA. But I would rather them at least get a shot, and that's from an outsider's perspective.
If there's data out there that suggests that Billy McKinney should be in the majors over Nick York or Billy Cook right now, then they need to fire their analytics department. So that's where I'm at. Like, no, yeah, that's a terrible excuse. Like, this team is out of it. Their playoff odds are now below 0.1. There's nothing left to play for this season. The only thing to do right now is figure out and try to answer some questions going into the offseason.
We only have like 30 games left, right? It's like 29 or 30 games left. Like, get them up here.
And playing Grandal, playing McKinney, playing these guys that you already know aren't doing anything for you. Playing them right now is just a waste of everyone's time. It's a waste of everyone's time. So
I agree. Anyway, sorry for that tangent. Right. That went a little longer than I thought.
All right, let's get out of here. 37 minutes, 10-8 loss to the Cleveland Guardians. They're back tomorrow. Game 2 of a 3-game series, 6:10 p.m. Luis Ortiz against Matthew Boyd. See if the Pirates can, I don't know, maybe not give up 10 runs tomorrow. That would be great.
So, we'll see.
All right, guys. Thanks you, everybody in the chat. You were keeping it lively. Appreciate everybody listening to the post game afterwards. You guys are the best. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us at 10:40 p.m. following another just rough loss by this team. So you guys are awesome.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we're out. We'll see you tomorrow. See you guys.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.